Quick heads up. This episode contains a description of sexual imagery.
I had a friend reach out and say, hey, I have this video of you. I can send you the link, but I don't want to forward it over school email. And I saw that and my first reaction was like, oh, this is weird, but like, I think they got hacked. And so I DM'd them on Facebook and said, hey man, I think your email got hacked. This is the message that I got from you. And he messaged back and said, no, I'm sorry. Actually, this is real. I didn't get hacked. You actually got deepfaked.
This is Taylor Klein.
That's my pseudonym. I am an engineer in Silicon Valley. And I guess what else can I share about myself?
Not a lot, actually. We've changed Taylor's name, and also her friends' names. When Taylor's friend sent her that "you've been deepfaked" message, it was 2020. At the time, Taylor didn't even know what a deepfake was.
I found out what a deepfake was from that guy and then quickly learned about them.
In his next message, Taylor's friend sent her a link to a Pornhub video. She's at her boyfriend's place, and they're together when she clicks through.
I mean, seeing this is difficult. We saw the profile, and once we pull the profile up, it looks like a pornographic profile that I have made. And I just see like my face looking back at me, but like it's not really my face. Like the eyes just look lifeless. And so I'm staring at myself in this video that I know I haven't made. I know I didn't consent to being made, but it's also not my body. It's just my face on another person's body. It felt like such a deep, deep violation.
At first, Taylor can't actually grasp what she's seeing. Her brain tries to file it under internet weirdness.
My first thought was like, okay, maybe this is some spam, like some bot created this, like a person didn't do this. And then as we started looking at like the profiles, because there were multiple of them, they just seemed so specific to me that it became clear that a person was actually behind this.
What Taylor means by specific is that whoever had posted these videos had also shared details about her. They'd posted her name, her real one, the name of her school, even her hometown.
It really started to hit of like, no, this is like real. Who did this?
A disturbing trend on social media struck one of the world's biggest stars this week.
Fake, explicit images of Taylor Swift have flooded social media.
Sexually suggestive ads appearing to show celebrities like Emma Watson and Scarlett Johansson, even though the images of the stars are completely fake.
At first, deepfake porn was mostly of celebrities, people who live online or whose image is already out there. And that made it easy for some to shrug it off. Sure, deepfake porn wasn't great, but it was just one of the many landmines that came with being famous. But however flimsy you might find that reasoning, it's also no longer true.
Teachers, social workers, nurses, moms, teenagers.
It's a professor, it's a politician, it's the mayor of a small town in Denmark.
There is no woman in the world who is safe from this technology.
And Taylor Klein, an engineering student living in Anywhere, USA, was about to find out the only way to stop the person deepfaking her was to hunt them down herself. I'm Sam Cole. This is Understood, Deepfake Porn Empire, Episode 2, So You've Been Deepfaked. At this point, I've talked to dozens of people who've been the targets of non-consensual deepfake porn. And there are certain things their experiences have in common: discovery, violation, bewilderment, fear, rage, and a desire to act, to do something. For Taylor, that went like this.
The first instinct is like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do? Something has happened. Something without my consent has been posted online. What do I do? I guess I call the police and see what they can do.
May 22, 2020.
Police assigned recorded.
I got a message saying that there was fake pornographic videos of me online, and I'm honestly not sure what to do.
Yes, do you know who might have done this?
We have no idea.
It's kind of iffy because it's not a crime that's like happening for this. I'm really not quite sure. Phone number?
I don't know what I expected to happen. I think in my very sheltered, very privileged mind, I was expecting them to be like, yep, we'll handle it. We'll figure out who did this and we will let you know when we do. And that got destroyed pretty quickly.
In the weeks that followed, as Taylor waited to hear from the police, she tried to go on as normal. But every time she passed the campus, saw friends, or even just lay in bed trying to fall asleep, the deepfakes kept circling in her mind.
In those first couple of weeks, I was terrified. I mean, the first thing is I had no idea who did this. I had no idea the motivation. But then also I had no idea who had seen it. So what do they think of it? Do they think that it's real? Do they want to find me? There was a lot of unknowns and a lot of fear surrounding all of it.
Finally, Taylor got a phone call from the police.
The detective was trying to discuss the case and, was asking if someone had put porn of me online. And I said, no, they just put my face on someone else's body. And he was having trouble understanding what the problem was. And I had to kind of walk him through it and explain I did not consent to this. Then he made some weird comments of I'm going to have to really examine this closely, and just made me feel real uncomfortable. Yeah, it was just a weird conversation.
But then, on top of the weirdness, the detective told her something else. Something she was not expecting.
He said this is basically, it's not good that it happened, but they had a right to do it. It wasn't illegal.
What was your reaction to hearing him say that?
It felt like a gut punch when he told me that whoever did it had a right to do it. It kind of it made me feel very alone.
When I talk to people who aren't familiar with the world of deepfake porn, this is usually the thing that floors them, the legal void. When Taylor found out she'd been deepfaked back in 2020, the laws were scattershot. In the US, where she lives, only a handful of states had begun introducing any kind of recourse for targets. It wasn't until the spring of 2025 that Congress passed the Take It Down Act. The act makes it a crime to knowingly publish or threaten to publish intimate images, including AI-generated deepfakes, without consent. But the law has its problems, including issues with enforcement and potential overreach with real free speech concerns. Meanwhile, in the vast majority of places, including most of Europe and all of Canada, there was not then and is not yet a criminal law covering the non-consensual creation and distribution of synthetic sexual images. In Canada, at the end of 2025, Justice Minister Sean Fraser introduced the Protecting Victims Act. If it passes, it will make distributing non-consensual sexual deepfakes a criminal offense. As of early 2026, the bill is currently making its way through Parliament. But so far, targets of deepfake porn have mostly had to rely on a patchwork of other laws, so-called revenge porn statutes, child sexual abuse laws, and occasionally civil and privacy torts. And so, it was under those conditions that in 2020, Taylor went looking for legal help.
Hi, Adam. I don't know if you have a pseudonym that I should use or...
So nice of you to ask. No, you can just call me Adam. It's fine.
Adam Dodge is a lawyer and the founder of NTAB. It stands for End Technology Enabled Abuse. He spoke to Taylor in the documentary Another Body, My AI Nightmare. You'll hear clips from the film throughout this episode.
Because I'd called the state police and they basically told me, we can't do anything for you. We're not going to do anything for you.
I'm not surprised, but I'm sorry to hear that's happened. So with respect to non-consensual pornography laws, deepfakes typically don't fall within the parameters of those laws because it's not the victim's body. That's why we typically look for other ways, false impersonation or credible impersonation.
False impersonation. If Taylor could show that the person making deepfakes of her had pretended to be her multiple times, she could potentially go after them for that. And whoever deepfaked Taylor, they'd made one serious mistake. By using her real name and posting her school and hometown on the Pornhub profiles, they'd made it look as if the profiles were hers, like she'd made them. But even then, the person deepfaking Taylor could be nearly impossible to prosecute for a whole different reason. Okay, remember the streamer, Cutie Cinderella? When she was deepfaked in 2023, she made a threat.
And to the person that made that website, I'm going to fucking sue you. I promise you. With every part of my soul, I'm going to fucking sue you.
When I talked to her a few days later, I asked her about that.
You said in that video that you were planning to sue the guy. Are you still planning to pursue that?
I've talked to 3 lawyers and there's nothing to do.
Really?
We can't find a way to sue him because he is anonymous. So I guess there's no repercussions for the person who made it, and that is awesome.
Yeah, that's so bleak. There are laws against revenge porn and non-consensual pornography. And there are laws in a couple states about deepfakes, but it's they don't do anything unless you know who you're suing. A lot of these sites are in other countries. They're completely anonymous. People are hiding behind layers of VPNs. What are you going to do? I don't know.
It feels like swimming upstream with a harpoon already in you.
Even if you go after them, the people making deepfake porn can be nearly impossible to find. And for Cutie, as a celebrity, the possibilities of who could have done it were nearly endless. There was no way she could take on that hunt herself. But Taylor, as a private citizen, maybe she could. So at this point, you realize the cops are not going to help. I think a lot of people would just say, okay, well, I guess that's a thing that's happening to me. But you took a totally different route. Did you kind of decide, this is now in my hands?
I don't know if it was as much of I'm going to find who did this. I think it was more of what else am I going to do? I didn't have any other options, but I'm not just going to sit here and take it. And then especially, I think it was game-changing finding Julia.
Okay, so really, all I have to say right now is holy fuck, this is crazy.
It's the summer of 2020 when Taylor grabs her phone and hits record because something insane has happened.
About 20 minutes ago, I found out that I know the other girl who this is happening to.
In a group chat, Taylor had told some of her friends about the deepfakes. And one of them was like, wait, you too? Because his girlfriend was also getting deepfaked.
That person was Julia. And I was like, wait a minute. It was a full stop. It can't just be a weird coincidence. If the same thing that's happening to me is happening to her, we both know who did this.
Julia is also a pseudonym. She and Taylor did their undergrads together. They lived on the same floor during first year, an engineering floor for people in similar majors.
I was one of only a couple women who graduated in my class in electrical engineering to the 50 to 100 men. The gender breakdown wasn't even close. I lived with a bunch of guys and only guys in my suite my junior and senior year. So I had to kind of make myself be more okay with hearing lewd jokes that targeted women. I had to deal with a lot more of not being taken seriously because I was a woman. So in that type of tech culture, having fallouts with men was not a super uncommon thing. So there were a couple of people that could have been.
Right away, Julia and Taylor started talking, comparing notes. and piecing together who could be behind the deepfakes.
We knew with the nature of deepfakes and where the technology was at that time that it had to be someone who had the know-how to create this and also someone who had the motivation to do this. So it really narrowed it down to like, okay, it has to be like one of three people.
Those people, Taylor calls them Bobby, Mike, and Alex. First up, Bobby,
who had been posting some really concerning content on Instagram, just abnormal. So that was a little bit of a red flag.
Behind door number 2, Mike.
Mike was roommates with Julia's boyfriend, and he wanted to move out from the dorm because Julia and her boyfriend were there all the time.
So that caused a bit of tension. And then there was number 3, Alex,
who was very confrontational and very aggressive.
Back when Taylor spoke to the lawyer, Adam Dodge, he'd told her that if she was going to try to go after this guy, there was something she and now Julia would need to do.
Basically find as much evidence as we could, which involved going to the corners of the internet that I never want to see again.
So she and Julia got on a call to go hunting for evidence.
How are you?
Am I rotated?
Yeah.
1 second. Sorry, I have the rotate lock on. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Taylor's first step was to grab screenshots of the Pornhub profiles, and her boyfriend emailed the site and had those taken down. But the videos didn't originate on Pornhub. Taylor's logic was simple. If she could figure out where they were coming from, then maybe she and Julia would be able to find clues about who was making them. So their next stop was 4chan.
I don't know if Julia had seen 4chan before. I know I hadn't really, but Julia's boyfriend knew more about 4chan and was able to kind of point us in the right direction a little bit.
Kevin, do you remember what the 4chan archive was that we used? It's just called 4chansearch.com.
4chan is a forum where people post short videos and images. Plenty of it porn. So it seemed like a good place to start.
What the fuck? So it looks like what this thread is people editing cum onto people's faces.
That's a new one.
That's the thing with trying to do this type of stuff is like you come across stuff that you don't.
Wait. I found it.
Like the picture?
Like the deep fake. Have you ever heard Mike or Bobby use the word chick?
No, never. Take screenshots of that.
Okay.
And it's as they're searching 4chan, finding deepfakes of themselves, that Taylor and Julia found something else entirely.
Wait, I know her. Yeah, I know her.
Who?
She went to our school.
And that's where we found our images and also other images of women we knew.
I found Vanessa.
Where?
Here, let me share my...
Where's Vanessa?
Okay, see, look at this is definitely her.
That's for sure Vanessa.
And there's Nina.
Oh, God. Which one?
Wait, there's a second one of Nina. Further down, there's 3 pictures of Nina. This one's Nina, too. Oh, gosh.
Whoever had done this wasn't just targeting Taylor and Julia. They were going systematically after women from their engineering school.
What was going through my head at that moment was just like, this is so much bigger than I expected. There are so many more people involved than I ever thought would be. At first, I thought it was just me that this had happened to, and I really only felt that fear for myself. And then just understanding the real scope of it and really how whoever did this viewed women, I think just fueled that anger for all of the women involved, who we also had to let know that this happened to.
When I talked to deepfake targets, they describe this particular terror that comes with finding out about the deepfakes through someone else. Because it means that while they're finding out that this has happened to them, they are simultaneously discovering that other people have already seen the videos. Maybe lots of people have seen them. Taylor is one of the few people I know who has been on both sides of this.
I know how I felt in the moment when I found out that I had been deepfaked. I just felt so violated and horrible. And I to know that I had to, that Julia and I had to tell these women that this happened to them, I just wanted to handle it in as sensitive of a way as possible.
So they decided to start a group chat, almost a support group. And Taylor and Julia sent a message.
Hey, I understand this is really strange that you're even getting this message. And, this is not pleasant. We don't want to have to be like sending you this, but we want you to know like what happened. I think as soon as we told them, we tried to just like say, we have this information. Please let us know if you want this information.
And this was the information they had, that the deepfakes existed, that whoever was behind them was almost certainly someone they'd all gone to school with, and a username.
We saw the username K-Relish.
It's not possible that this K-Relish is his username, because it seems like he's posting like most of these pictures.
K-Relish had been posting deepfakes all over. And when they narrowed down their search to just his posts, Taylor found what she needed, a clue in a familiar face.
Oh my God, that's Sadie. That's Sadie. That's Mike's friend.
Where?
Go. It's K-Relish. Go down about halfway down the page. That's her. That's her.
Can you like put it?
And
on
that's her again.
It's definitely him then. There's no way.
Oh my God.
Sadie didn't go to our college. She went to high school with Mike. And so that in our minds was like, okay, well, someone who has no connection to us other than Mike. That was the light bulb moment where we were confident that Mike was the person behind this.
Mike, Julia's boyfriend's old disgruntled roommate. So Taylor says that back when Mike got annoyed that Julia had been around too much, he'd started looking for a new place to live. And the person he moved in with?
We start living together, and Mike and I are incredibly close.
Yeah, Taylor.
Mike felt like an ally. Mike was someone who I felt like I could really trust. I felt very safe with him. I didn't feel like I had to keep as much of a wall with him. I felt like I could just be myself and just be goofy and innocent with him. He was always a really good friend.
But then things soured. Engineering school was hard. Taylor was feeling the strain. Living away from home, the long hours, the brutal competition. And it seemed that Mike was having trouble too.
He had struggled with some mental health issues previously, and I think he felt like I was someone that he could confide in. I was a friend that he could turn to for support. But I started providing support in a way that I no longer felt comfortable doing. It just felt like a bad situation.
Taylor encouraged Mike to see a professional. She told him that she was barely more than a kid, too. Told him she was struggling herself, that she didn't know how to help him. But Taylor says he kept coming to her.
It got to a point where, I wasn't able to, get my work done. I wasn't able to do what I needed to do to take care of myself. It totally became about him. He would knock on my door and, just sit there for a long time talking, and I didn't know how to handle the situation. And after expressing to him multiple times that I thought I was not the right person to talk to about this, I think I eventually just kind of lost it and kind of just, yelled at him in front of our friends. It was a really tense moment where I just lost my temper a little bit.
Some friendships might bounce back. People apologize, sort themselves out, move on. But not this one.
We still had to see each other, but that friendship was over. Things were never the same after that.
But did you ever imagine that this would be the response, though?
I would never have expected him to make deepfake porn of me. Even in my wildest anxieties, I could not have predicted that this would be the result. Frankly, I didn't think that he would betray someone at that level. I've thought about this a lot, and I think he thought this was justified. Maybe he felt like he had been wronged, but I have to believe that the reason that he actually went that route and violated all of us women so deeply is that he was unwell.
And this is something else I hear from targets. It's almost a hope that the person who did this just wasn't well. They weren't in their right mind. Because the alternative explanation is so much more disturbing.
And it's totally possible that he is just a monster. You know, that's the scary thing.
Taylor and Mike stopped living together after that year. She moved on. She'd assumed Mike had too.
Finding the deepfakes and realizing there was a whole other side to a person that I thought I knew really well was incredibly difficult to cope with. I reached out to Sadie and let her know what we had found. She did not seem surprised, so that was kind of the final nail in the coffin that we were fairly certain that Mike did this. He's the only person that has the capability and the motivation to do this to all of these women. Like, there was just too much circumstantial evidence.
With her evidence, Taylor managed to get the state police to chase a false impersonation charge. But to prosecute, they needed more proof.
They tried to figure out, like, is there like an IP address that they can track to this person? Unfortunately, they couldn't because Mike used a VPN every time he did anything. So they weren't able to like get definitive proof that it was him.
In the end, the police just went straight to him.
They ended up just calling Mike to basically just like tell him what they think he did and what they had been up to, and basically like that they couldn't find any conclusive evidence that it was him, but that they were aware that this had happened and that if, you know, it can't happen again. They said that he never admitted to making the deepfakes, but he also never denied doing it. And then at the end of the conversation, he thanked them for their handling of the situation. The police officer that I spoke to, he thanked them, which seems pretty damning, if you ask me. It felt violating all over again because I was like, oh, you're just telling me that he's getting away with it and that you basically had a conversation to acknowledge that he was getting away with it. And so that felt pretty icky.
And that was it. The police closed the case.
I've never heard from Mike. I haven't heard from Mike since. Nothing.
We reached out to him. We never heard back. In all of this, there was something else that Taylor found in her hunt. That user, K Relish, had been posting on 4chan, and he had been uploading to the tube sites, Pornhub, Xhamster. But he'd also been active somewhere else.
Just Googling Hey Relish, and I already have like stuff coming up.
Yeah, it looks like he used to have a profile on something called MrDeepfakes.com.
MrDeepfakes.com.
I had never seen a site that was so focused on deepfakes, and in a really sick, gross way, felt like a community of deepfakes and people who wanted to create deepfakes. We found what looked like an instruction manual, complete with like graphs, and it looked super like a professional style report on how to create deepfakes. It was wild because it felt like we were like stumbling into like the inner workings of what he was doing, what seemed kind of like the center of all of it.
Because that's exactly what it was. The site Taylor had just stumbled onto, MrDeepfakes.com, was ground zero, a hub for users like K-Relish to learn and teach others how to make non-consensual deepfake porn of tens of thousands of women. Fakes that then spread all across the internet. And 4 years later, on the other side of the world, a Danish reporter was going to start her own hunt. Not for one guy making deepfake porn, but for the person behind the biggest deepfake porn website in the world, Mr. Deepfakes himself.
We saw this guy and we thought, this can't possibly be the guy.
And it really gave me the creeps.
This is some guy holed up somewhere in a basement. Maybe he works in a morgue.
We have to turn and flip the spotlight. We have to put his face on the front page.
That's next time on Understood, Deepfake Porn Empire. Understood, Deepfake Porn Empire is written and produced by our showrunner, AC Rowe, and me, your host, Sam Cole. In this episode, you heard archival tape from BBC, Channel 4 News, NBC News, and a huge thank you to filmmakers Sophie Compton and Reuben Hamlyn, who put us in touch with Taylor. The archival tape you heard of Taylor in this episode, including her conversations with Julia, came from their documentary film, Another Body, My AI Nightmare. If you're in Canada, you can watch Another Body for free on CBC Gem. There's a link in the show notes. The show is produced by Arman Agbali. Our sound designer is Julian Uzieli. Veronica Simmons is our story editor. And our executive producer is Nick McCabe-Locos. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to check out earlier seasons of Understood. Season 5 was hosted by my friend Cory Doctorow. It tells the story of how decades of international policy failures took the internet from a futuristic wonderland to what he now calls the inshitternet. He explores how it happened and whose fault it is on Understood Season 5, Who Broke the Internet. You can listen to that wherever you're listening to me now. Just scroll back in your Understood feed and make sure to follow us while you're at it.